Hi, I'm Will with Rockstar Guitar Studio. In this lesson you're going to learn about holding the guitar, parts of the guitar, holding the pick hand placement, using an electronic tuner to tune your guitar, reading tab and chord diagrams, fretting notes and chords, and the 3 basic types of picking. Let's get started. First, let's discuss holding the guitar. There's 2 different positions that you can hold the guitar in. The first one that I'm using right now is called standard position. You'll see a lot of guitar players using this, and for some people it's really comfortable for them. You're just going to sit it on your right leg sideways, just like you see me doing it. The second position is called classical position. For a right-handed guitar player, it would rest on your left leg. For a left-handed guitar player, it would be the opposite, and it would rest on your right leg. There's a couple different reasons I like this position better. You can reach more frets, your wrist doesn't have to bend as much, and more importantly, when you go to play standing up, this is the position your guitar will be in. So when you stand up, the guitar hangs here like this, not over here like this. But you can choose whichever one is more comfortable to you. Now we're going to talk about parts of the guitar. Up at the very top, you have what's called the headstock, and these are the tuning keys. This part is called the guitar nut. The metal bars are the frets, and the wood that they sit in is called the fretboard. These are the strings, obviously. This part of the guitar is called the neck. This part is called the body. Right here you have the bridge. Sometimes you'll also hear it referred to as the tailpiece. These are the pickups. This one's called the neck pickup. This one's the bridge pickup. Every guitar will pretty much have 1 volume knob. Sometimes they'll have 2. 1 for each pickup. Most guitars will have at least 1 tone knob. Sometimes they'll have 2, again 1 for each pickup. Right here you have the pickup selector, and it could be a blade type switch or it could be a toggle type switch. Right here it's set to use the bridge pickup. Switch it to the middle, it uses both pickups, and when you switch it to that position it's using just the neck. Here's how you hold a pick. Basically you want to make an extension of your fingertip. So you're just going to kind of stick it in that finger like that. Your thumb comes over like that. And you want to put it on the side of your finger, just a little bit. Not really here, but more here on this part of your finger. So you place the pick like that. Thumb comes over it. And you don't want to hold the pick up here like this, because as you play it gives you no control. You want to choke up on it a little bit, so you just have just a little bit of pick showing like that. Okay, let's talk about hand placement on the guitar. When you place your hand on the guitar, a lot of people when they first start they try to free float their hand like this. You don't want to do that. You want to let your arm rest up here on the body of the guitar, and you want to just let your hand rest there right on the bridge of the guitar right there. And as you can see, it's just resting comfortably on the strings in order to keep them from making any sort of noise, especially with electric guitar. Once you get to any type of loud volume or a lot of distortion, if you don't have your hands touching the strings somewhere, then they'll make noise on their own. Okay, now we're going to talk about tuning the guitar. For all beginners, it's really highly recommended that you get an electronic tuner, as it's very difficult to tune a guitar by ear. First, we're going to start off on the low E, the 6th string. It looks like that one's right in tune. We'll let the string ring a little bit. You don't want to keep picking it like this, as that won't give you accurate tuning results. You want to see if the note stays in tune as the string starts to die a little bit. So our low E is in tune. There's our A string. As you can see, it's saying A flat. We don't want A flat, we want A. So we're going to tighten the string. Now we're on A, and we want it to be right in the middle there. Alright, now we're in tune there. D string. That one's in tune. Check our G. Again, we're on G flat, so we're going to want to tighten that up. Now G's in tune. Our B string is so tight that it's on C, so we want to loosen the string. And when we loosen it, we want to loosen it below the pitch unless we have locking tuners. Otherwise you get slack in the string when you play it and it'll go back out of tune very quickly. So now we're going to tighten it back up now that we've lowered it below the pitch we were aiming for. Now that one's in tune. And our high E is in tune. Now we're going to learn how to read tab and chord diagrams. The first thing you see here at the very top of the screen is an example of a chord diagram for an E chord and an A minor chord. What you have right here, this represents the guitar nut. These are the frets right here, and these lines right here going up and down represent the strings. Down here you have the fingering for the chord. You're going to play the open E string. You're going to fret the second fret on the A string with your second finger. You're going to fret the second fret of the D string with your third finger. You're going to fret the first fret of the G string with your first finger, and you're also going to play the B and E strings open. Over here you have an A minor chord. If you notice, it's actually the same exact shape. The only difference is that you're shifting it over a set of strings. Up at here we have something a little bit different. You see an X here, that means that that string is not played. We have the A string that's played open. We have the second fret of the D string played with your second finger. We have the second fret of the G string played with your third finger. And you have the first fret of the B string played with your first finger, as well as the open high E string. Okay, now let's check out the tab. First, we have the tempo indicator right here. It's telling us that quarter notes equals 80 beats per minute. Right here you have the time signature. It's telling you that it's 4/4, which means that there's 4 beats in a measure. A measure is from here to here, indicated by that line. And it also means that quarter notes, in this case this is a quarter note right here, that there's going to be 4 of them per measure. We also have the tuning here on the side. You won't always see this in every tab. Sometimes it'll just say standard tuning or whatever type of tuning it is, or it might have a list of what string is tuned to what up here. When you're looking at this tablature, it's as if the guitar is sitting in your lap, or if you're looking at a guitar upside down. The high E is up here and the low E is down here. A lot of people confuse that. So these lines are representing the 6 strings of your guitar, and these numbers represent the frets to play. So first we have single notes, so you play the first fret, second fret, third fret, and then your fourth fret. Next up we have chords in tab. It's the same thing as you saw up here, except for now we see them in tab. So when you see the numbers stacked on top of each other like this, that means that you're going to play them all simultaneously. Same thing here with the A minor chord. All those would be struck at the same exact time. Third example we have is an arpeggio, and all an arpeggio is a chord played one note at a time. Sometimes you'll see this in tab and people get confused. They try to move their fingers around to each fret, but what you're really looking at here is a chord. And again, it's actually this E major chord right here, and you're just playing it one note at a time. So you'd fret the entire chord and then you'd play through it one note at a time. One thing for me to add right here is when you see these right here in tab or in music notation, what that means is that the section is repeated, and if there's not a number right here indicating the number of times, it's automatically assumed that you just repeat it once. So you'd play through it, come back to this part, and play through it again. Okay, now that we've learned how to read chord diagrams and tablature, now we're going to try out some of the examples that we just saw. Now when somebody tells you to play a fret, what they're telling you to do is play directly behind the fret, not on top of the fret, but directly behind it. And you want to be way behind it, because then you'll get the string buzzing. There's 3 types of picking, and for this example we're going to use all downstrokes. So we're going to start on the first fret with our first finger, and we're going to pick the string like this. Then we're going to move to the second fret with our second finger, third fret with our third finger, fourth fret with our fourth finger. Another type of picking is using all upstrokes, so you'd be picking like this. Example 1 again with up picking. And the last type of picking is alternate picking, meaning down and up. Example 1 again with alternate picking. Moving on to example 2, we're going to be playing an E major chord. So you can look at the chord diagram at the top. We're going to place our second finger on the second fret of the A string, our third finger on the second fret of the D string, and our first finger on the first fret of the G string. And we're going to play 6 strings with a downstroke. And that is an E major chord. Alright, now we're going to take that same shape and we're going to move it up a set of strings to play A minor. So again, your second finger is going to be on the second fret of the D string, your third finger is going to be on the second fret of the G string, and your first finger is going to be on the first fret of the B string. And this time the low E is not played, so we're just going to play 5 strings here. And that's an A minor chord. Finally, we have the arpeggio exercise in example 3.